We have a coach of the game, football
Legend of the
coach,
game.
legend of the game, a man who is absolutely crushing it on YouTube. It is Coach DC from All 22 Films, NFL Cuts. What up?
What's up, guys?
What's up, Coach? I appreciate the time to join us, man.
Yeah, thank you for every time that you offer. Hopefully the audio sounds okay. Does it?
Yeah,
Yes,
sounds
yes,
great.
you're perfect. We got into this conversation because you were asking when you should upload your videos so it doesn't interfere with our show, and I was like, hey, why don't you come on and promote the video? What do you got breaking down tonight?
Well, that's what I like about you, because anytime I've ever dealt with you, whether it's on here or messaging or whatever, it's just straightforward and direct. I don't know if you're a busy person, but it seems like it, because you don't waste any time, which I like that. I wasn't, I'll be honest with you, it was a frustrating game for me to watch overall. I hope you're going to ask me about specific parts of it. I have intentionally waited to watch the coverage part of the defense. I'm going to be honest with you, I've only pretty much watched the offense so far.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to push my defensive-related content to later in the week for multiple reasons. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's selfish. Lions fans just chew through the content, and the amount of positive, in-depth comments and questions is just it's amazing for me to deal with. So I can move Lions content to Wednesday and Thursday and still get interaction. So that's a selfish answer, not necessarily what you were asking me, but it makes for a fun week that goes by really fast for me.
Hey,
Yeah.
can't knock the hustle, Coach. We appreciate the content. Definitely
real.
love it. It's great stuff, and I just want to get
thank
right
you.
into it. You talked about you watched the offense. I know Easy's got a question that he's been dying to ask somebody about, so I'm not going to steal that from him. But one thing I did want to ask was Taylor Decker seemed to struggle a little bit with Jared Verse out there. Jared Verse getting to golf once, and it was pretty easily. What did you see out of Taylor Decker trying to go up against this highly touted rookie?
Versus a dog.
Correct me if I'm wrong, versus the guy who got the sack to end the second quarter. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Number 8.
Yep.
Yeah. I like him. In a video I did, I guess yesterday. I don't know. I've slept so little the last couple of days that I'm not sure whether yesterday was today. But I kept referring to 8 as 0. Byron Young. They're both talented.
Yes.
Yes, and actually, I will be honest with you. I have a little bit of an unfair advantage. One of our former players takes a look at the Lions' offensive line film at this point, independent of me, and kind of feeds me notes, and we communicate back and forth. And that's what he said. He said he thought Decker over the course of the game kind of slowed down and didn't seem to be as effective late third quarter, fourth quarter as he was earlier in the game, which is what made the overtime period so amazing. Is my audio messing up?
No,
you're good.
fine.
Okay, I saw you. It looked like you went muted. So yeah, I thought, hey, Verse and Young are extremely talented. People, myself included, thought going into the game, hey, there's no Aaron Donald. They traded Ernest Jones. Look, those two inside linebackers, especially 56, they can play.
Yeah.
I am blown away at, I think is it Roseboom 56, excuse me.
Roseboom and
He was
Reader.
impressive.
They're both.
Yeah, he was impressive. And I don't know about you guys, but I just kept being those two reverses. He made the tackle on both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was texting these guys this morning, number 51, because and I'll ask you this question actually. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is our all-pro. He is, he's on the Netflix documentary, receiver. He is truly a star. He's so spinning, by the way. Shout out to Broadcaster 6. But when I watched his targets, and I noticed it wasn't always just one guy around him. It was, between the safety and then number 51. I think his name's Daniel Reader or whatever it may be. But they did a tremendous job. Outside of that, what was going on with Amon-Ra St. Brown? Is this something Lions fans should be concerned about going forward, or just Sean McVay and the great Don Shula's grandson do a great job of game planning against him?
Just watching them in week one, it certainly seemed like the Rams defense played very fast. I thought they played a lot of zone. You may know, Easy, I don't, pay attention to other rating services that tell you, 45 minutes after the game that they played, 62% man, 20%, so if you can catch the joke there, then good for you. But I think they played a lot of zone.
BSS is the BSS,
and I think they did a nice job of making Goff go to his second and third read. And that's a generic statement. I'm not worried about Amon-Ra St. Brown at all. I don't get the chance to watch you guys' show, so because I'm just busy. So I didn't catch the reference y'all did a minute ago. That little side comment. I didn't know what it meant. But St. Brown, I'm higher on St. Brown than you two are. I can guarantee you. I personally think he's a Hall of Fame talent if he stays healthy, if he stays healthy the next 3 or 4 years. I don't see any reason why he doesn't give you 90 plus catches every year. The only caveat to that would be other guys' involvement, reducing his touches. I'm not concerned about it. I don't know. Are other people concerned about the lack of impact that St. Brown and Laporta had against the Rams?
Not really. I mean, some people are kind of overreacting to it a little bit, but I think we all just know that it's just one game. It's not. This guy's been doing it for 3 years, so we're not worried about it.
The emergence of J-Mo too. I mean, it's possible he was going to become like the third target anyway. The third option.
How good does it feel for you guys as Lions fans, hardcore Lions fans, to have such high standards and expectations now that an overtime win over the Rams, that you win by basically knockout, in the overtime period? I don't know about you, but personally, I'm somewhat disappointed at the overall tenor of the game. How different is this for you guys as Lions fans now versus 3, 4, 5 years ago? I know you brought me on to ask questions.
Yeah,
but
you're good. It's crazy, man.
It's insane.
Like, we got our power rankings, week 2 power rankings coming up a little bit later on the show, and I did biasly put my Detroit Lions number 1, but it's also not crazy too. Like I can do that, and I'm not just a fan, but a lot of people around the league are viewing them as a top 3, top 5 team, and it's that's the part that's crazy to me. I guess tune into like a national, well, not even tuning because I don't really watch too much stuff these days, but like scrolling through Twitter and to see like NBC has Detroit Lions, second in their power. Like, that's what's trippy to me. It's unfamiliar territory for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know you guys, and I don't know the fans that comment on my videos, but for you all and the people that are consistently commenting on my videos, I'm happy for you, because I can hear, from people like yourself talking, and a couple other shows I've went on, I've asked that question, the enjoyment. I hope you reflect sometimes about how different it was, early 2022, late 2021, because it's a hell of a fun team to watch. I personally feel extremely blessed to get to watch 2 really good teams. I'm disappointed they don't play each other this year in the regular season.
I'm not.
Hopefully later on.
What was, from your perspective?
I'm glad we don't have to play the Ravens again. That's for sure.
How did they slow Amon-Ra St. Brown down, though, in your opinion?
I mean, you certainly can say that guys were hedging towards St. Brown. I don't throw out blanket statements like bracket, double team, because sometimes there's the coverage that's just called, and guys are playing it really well. I don't know personally whether they were actually doubling him at times. My suspicion is that Jameson Williams, at some point in the game, the Rams stayed in a too high look, and I thought, especially in overtime, hey guys, it's time to do something different from a run defense standpoint when they're just jamming it down your throat, and they kept staying in that too high look. I think possibly the big threat of Jameson Williams played a factor there. I don't know. Hey, Shula did a great job. They did a fantastic job on defense. I think that's obvious. They deserve credit, but just an extra gear in overtime that those guys kicked in. Ben Johnson and the offensive line just went into like ass kicker mode.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask about. Like, was there anything different that they did in overtime, or did they just say, all right, we need one drive. We're bigger than you. We're better than you. You can't stop us.
I think the reverse to open the possession is a bigger factor than maybe we all know.
NBC didn't even show that. They cut back to the game. The first play of overtime.
They show it?
The Raymond reverse. No, they didn't even show it.
Oh, wow.
It cut back in, and it was already over. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I love the reverse that Ben Johnson uses. He pulls the guard opposite the flow of the reverse, and that holds that inside linebacker to that side. I broke it down twice on my channel, and I just, it's not that other people aren't doing it, but to call it on the first play of overtime with Khalif Raymond, all the weapons that are out there, Gibbs and Montgomery ain't on the field at the same time, but point being, there's so many weapons on this team. Where do you rank Khalif Raymond? You as a coach are willing to use that guy. What's he?
Yeah, man.
6th, 7th, maybe 8th in the pecking order. I think that says a lot about the team. Look, that play could have popped for 40.
That's why I love him as a coach, man. Like certain coaches, and you have great players, you go with great players nonstop. But when you don't know who's being used, it's so much harder to game plan against. And you have the offensive line too. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just love Ben Johnson.
No, I'm terrible about just rambling on. So interrupt me at
No, that's my bad.
whatever,
I love Ben Johnson. I get excited talking about him.
I think then they come back with the 2 zone plays. So you asked me what changed, what was different. I think Zeitler and Ragnow are really good on zone concepts. I mean, I don't even mention Penei Sewell because it's a given. It's a given. So whatever you have him ranked at, 98, 99, he's going to play at that level. The zone stuff, and then 2 of the short yardage runs I thought were brilliant. And the Rams did what most NFL teams do. They're just going to widen up their defensive end outside linebacker, and Ben Johnson gets that extra 18 to 22 inches of space to run off tackle, and Montgomery takes advantage of it. I thought it was outcoached in that overtime period. And, hey, on the other side of the ball, was there times where McVay and Stafford did things that caused a heck of a lot of conflict for the defense? Sure. If you want to call it outcoaching, I don't care. I really don't. But they forced Stafford into a bunch of short throws into the flats that are almost kind of glitchy, maybe in a certain way.
Yeah.
Kupp is over there running tight end routes into the boundary at 5-6 yards depth out of 11 personnel, so you're away from the nickel. There's really a whole lot of space there. But I am interested in the answers that Glenn comes up with maybe the next time they see them. Of course, the Rams have got a long way to go there because they're dealing with a lot of injuries now, unfortunately for them. They came in and gave a great performance. Is it difficult for you guys to give the Rams credit? It's not for me because I'm so impartial by nature, but is it difficult for y'all to do that?
Not for me, and they hate me for it.
Yeah.
Like if I see a good throw, I'm like, yeah, that was a good throw.
It's pretty crazy some of the throws that Stafford was making with the pressure that he was facing and just getting the ball off. Those were insane. And Sean McVay, the adjustments he made at halftime were just insane to get them back into that game.
And that's what I was saying too. Is like even if someone were to replicate that game plan, because it was brilliant, no one will be able to execute it the way that Sean McVay and Stafford did. Because Stafford's making throws that there's literally probably 3 guys in the NFL that can do. Let
me ask you guys a tough question. Do you think – I thought Davenport played well. I mean, would you guys say so?
Oh,
yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah. There was one bull rush. I don't know if it was a backup, but it's one hand almost. He's pushing the guy while he's flushing Stafford out.
Any hesitation on you guys' part in getting excited about his potential given the tackles that you were playing against? And I'm not saying that's where I am. I'm not saying, he played well, but look who he's playing against. Because me personally, the film from last year, week 4, week 5, when he was healthy, he looked like a badass.
Yeah.
I thought that's how he played the other day.
And that's what it is for me, is if he can stay healthy, he's shown in the NFL that he can win one-on-ones on the outside no matter who he's lining up against. He's just big, physical, and will dominate people off the line of scrimmage. But the key is, can he stay healthy? That's the thing that worries me.
I don't know if he'll always result in sacks, but I just know he'll always be an absolute nuisance to whatever tackle he's playing.
He's going to be a lot better than Charles Harris and Romeo Okwara.
I think like his goal, the goal of signing him was to have him, have quarterbacks flush out towards Aiden Hutchinson or towards Lee McNeil, and for somebody else to clean up.
I'm not a huge fan of I continue to say this. I'm not a huge fan of ceiling and floor, statements. But I feel like if he's healthy for 17 games, he raises both the ceiling and the floor, because, like you just said, he's going to win 5 or 6 matchups a game and be a nuisance. And then two of those run plays that were to his side, man, he just took the tight end and walked him back 2 yards. And so basically that forces the running back to kind of decide, okay, am I going to cut it up in here now, or am I going to bow it outside? And with the speed they have there, I was on rewatch, I wasn't as disappointed in the defense, but I certainly have a higher standard of expectation than what we saw. I expect them to be better defensively than what we got overall.
I agree. And Coach, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about Jameson Williams and what happened with that. The guy he looked like the best player on the field. He was averaging 25 yards a catch, explosive plays everywhere. You saw his route tree. I think NFL Next Gen Stats put out his route chart, and a lot of it was coming right to left over the middle of the field, getting him that galloping running start that we see Miami do with Tyreek Hill a lot. What did you see out of Jameson Williams in his breakout performance?
Yeah, I usually call it first of all, the energy he played with was palpable. You could, I did think that, I wasn't there live. Obviously, I'm watching on a TV or a laptop screen for that matter. And I didn't think there was as much energy as I've seen out of this team for the last, a year and a half, 2 years. I'm talking about a year and a half, 2 years of games being played. I did, overall, but Jamison Williams brought it. He looked like the guy. He looked like the guy that comes off the bench to score 20, 25 a game in an NBA game. The underneath drag routes are interesting to me because he's going to run away from people in man. And in zone stuff, if it's play action, you're normally talking about the run action going to, the offense's right. And that's where Jamison Williams lined up. So he runs that little drag from right to left. And so you get the inside linebackers flowing. It's not about flowing downhill. It's about the horizontal conflict. Those linebackers are moving to the offense's right, and Jamison Williams is going right to left. And you saw there's just no chance for those guys to keep up with it. I wonder about his alignment and what teams will do as we get into the season, meaning, okay, he's lined up here, and therefore we can't play this particular coverage. The route tree will open up. Did it look limited? Yeah. The next gen stats you said, did it look like a limited route tree?
I wouldn't say limited, really. But
it was all to the left, which makes sense because you want him to go deep or to the outside of the numbers, and JG's right-handed, so he can just whip that thing down there.
You mean it was going to the offense's left?
It was going to a lot of it. Yeah. A lot of them were. Yeah, I would say about 9 of them, 8 of the throws. There was a couple deep shots and one quick out.
You've got Sewell as your right tackle, and I would say that's the run strength of your offensive line. So your play action is going to flow to the right, and so it makes sense then that your speed guy is going to be right to left against that horizontal action. Sorry if I'm getting too technical, but that's what.
No,
that's kind of been my explanation. And then the speed. I mean, he almost looks like a sped. You scout people, and you're like, is this film sped up? Like he looked sped up a little bit, like 1.2x speed. It just didn't look right, which is a good thing for Detroit, but not for the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we know Ben Johnson likes to do that. That's the same play that they won against the Jets with. It was just Brock Wright doing that instead of Jameson Williams, which is going to make it a lot more dangerous.
That's what Sean McVay would go off to, is play action. That's I guess the foundation piece of this Ben Johnson offense was like what worked there. Speaking of Jared Goff, what was your take on him? I know it wasn't his best game.
It looked, it's his strength, his relative strength, is making the read and getting rid of the ball quick, right? So it didn't look like he was able to do that consistently for whatever reason. Were the Rams switching coverages post snap? I didn't think I saw the Rams doing a lot of obfuscation and hiding things that maybe other people that you've talked to have had a better explanation, but it looked like to me Goff his timing was interrupted, but not. Although I did think there was times where the Rams pass rush kind of, I don't want to say collapsed the pocket, but maybe moved it a little further back than he was comfortable. I don't know if that's how you guys saw it. They certainly sacked him at the end of the second quarter. Did they have a sack on the first possession too? I thought.
Yeah,
I believe they did. Yes.
Yeah, the third down.
It looked like a miscommunication between Zeitler and Sewell
on a stunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a switch rush. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't think he played well. I just did not. Whether that's more so credit to the Rams, I'm not sure. Sorry. Yeah, I know I'm probably too serious for you guys. I get the sense.
No, you're good. That's how I get after us. If you can't critique Goff in Detroit.
The fans, they hold Goff they clutch Goff very tight.
My take, I guess, on it is the kind of, and I remember Amon-Ra St. Brown's brother was saying this too. Like, and it is true. Like our offense operates within the middle of the field whenever it's not running the ball. And I think they, like you said, those two linebackers, 51 and 56, they had it.
Troy Reader,
Troy Reader and Roseboom, whatever his name is, Noteboom. They were
Christian Roseboom,
tremendous, and so was Johnson as well, the safety.
Yeah, they were. It was like they were everywhere. You're sitting there watching a pile unfold after the play, and like who's on the bottom of that pile? Like, oh, it's 51 and 56. Like, no surprise. You also have to remember too. Like, I'm comfortable evaluating any player in a negative light on a particular player or series of plays. I'm a Lamar Jackson is my favorite fan in the league, and I have lost, subscribers and listeners, Ravens fans at times, because I've been what I think is intellectually honest myself.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable or fine if someone says, hey, you're incorrect, and here's the correct interpretation of it. That's cool. I'm just going to give you what my reaction is. So as far as Goff goes, like, I'm not phased or or bothered by that at all. And I don't think Lions fans should be either. I hope you're looking for honesty. At least you
Yes.
better
Oh,
be
for
if
sure.
you're coming to listen to my content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we try to keep it as real as possible too. And he didn't have a good game. We said it. It's
Ooh,
fine.
easy. He tries to keep it.
Yeah, just try to keep it honest here, Coach. We appreciate you so much for joining us, Coach DC
No,
of all
thank you
22
guys, man.
films.
What
Make
time
sure
is
you
that
guys
video
check it
coming out?
Yeah, when's that video coming out so our fans can go over there and listen to it?
I did a video on the final drive, the overtime drive, that was pretty
Nice.
significant
Yeah,
in
it
terms
was
of
awesome.
in depth. It came out a couple hours ago, so it's on my channel right now. I forget what I even titled it. I put out so much content now, I don't even remember what I put as the title. But I'll have I don't know if anyone does this, and if you guys know, please inform me. We're going to try to do an O-line centered piece of content every week. I don't know that it's going to be a formal grade. I'm not interested in trying to grade Kevin Zeitler, but it'll be certainly something that 8 or 10 plays that we think is representative of the way the Lions O-line played. And I don't know if anyone does that's Lions centered or not. There's 3 different guys who do that
No.
for the Ravens. That's why I'm not stepping into that space at all.
No, I don't think there is. Zeitler, was he probably the worst of the guys out there, you think, on the offensive line?
I thought he played really well in the overtime period. So, you know,
yeah,
that's the film that's most recent in my mind that I watched this morning. So, you know, it's hard for me to say that. I thought Decker did slow down over the course of the game. And I thought he looked a little stiff on a couple of plays in the fourth quarter, but not so much in the overtime. So, but in any case, you know, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. I'll do it again sometime if you want.
Of course,
sir.
Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate you so
Appreciate
much
you.
for joining us.
And congrats on all the success as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Keep going, man. You're killing it. It's awesome. I love your stuff.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Coach. Dude, that man knows ball. You talk about ball knowers. Coach DC is a certified ball knower, dude.
He's got a great voice, too.
He does have a great voice.